Let's talk about the Battle Frontier in Platinum. In March of 2009, 2 years after Diamond and Pearl, Pokemon Platinum was released in North America. Just as Emerald had done to Ruby and Sapphire, Platinum took what Diamond and Pearl had done and expanded upon it. Not only did the look and feel of the region change, such as the characters wearing more winter-themed clothing and the region being peppered in snow, but they also changed many of the encounters and sequences of the story. And, like the Emerald video, I don't have time to get into them here, so instead I'll just focus on the endgame. Just like Diamond and Pearl, once you beat the champion and enter the Hall of Fame, you return home like usual. And, like the last games, your mother tells you that your rival came by and said you needed to go to Snow Point City and get on a boat. So you do so, talk to the captain, and then Cynthia comes out of nowhere and gives you a little positive reinforcement before you get on the boat and set sail. This is where the game really starts to change the endgame. When you get off the boat, your rival once again finds you for being late, but then he says to forget about that and just follow him. He'll walk you through the fight area and to the gate of the Battle Frontier, saying that these two in front of it said he couldn't enter, and he asks you to team up with him to prove his ability. Then you get to enter into a double battle with your rival against Sunny Shore's gym leader Volkner and Elite Four member Flint. Holy crap. Once the two of you defeat them, they'll depart and your rival will be pumped about getting to finally enter the frontier, and then gets absolutely plowed into by his dad. And in this game he actually acknowledges that this is his dad up front. Palmer will talk to the two of you for a bit, your rival will mention how he became a trainer to be cool like his dad, and then bolt. And then Buck will talk to you about the volcano before he also departs, leaving you free to enter the frontier. Well, almost. Once you enter the reception area, the receptionist closest to you on the left calls you over and welcomes you. She tells you that they upgrade a trainer's Versus Seeker when they first arrive, and then does so for you, changing it from this to this, which adds the ability to see your Prince, your BP, and the most recent video you've saved. She then asks if you have any more questions before she lets you pass. You walk across the logo for the Sinnoh Frontier and through the door at the end of the hall, finally getting to see what all the bluster is about. And then you're there. The Sinnoh Battle Frontier. Right off the bat, you should notice that you're in a small market area sunken down from the surroundings. While Hoenn's Frontier was a large area with various things hidden throughout for you to discover and explore, in addition to the 7 battle facilities, Sinnoh's Frontier is set up in a pentagon shape, with each of its 5 facilities on a corner, and the shops in the center for easy navigation. And like the Emerald video, I won't be going into detail about the different facilities of the Frontier. Instead, I'll be focusing on the Battle Tower specifically. Coming from Diamond and Pearl, the tower really doesn't function any different than before. You still get to choose your format, that being single, double, or multi-battle, and the flat level system remains as it was in Diamond and Pearl, wherein any Pokemon over level 50 would be leveled down to level 50, and any Pokemon under level 50 would have a really bad time. You still have the 7 trainer sets that you have to get through with BP at the end of each challenge. You still get to battle a Frontier Brain at the 21st and 49th battles, and you still get prestigious awards for defeating them. However, those rewards have changed somewhat. In Diamond and Pearl, you were rewarded with trophies at the 20th, 50th, and 100th consecutive win, as well as commemorative ribbons given to your Pokemon that you used in the battle. In Platinum, these have been added to with the addition of Prints. At your 21st consecutive win, you're rewarded with a silver print that can be displayed on your Versus Seeker. At the 49th consecutive win, you're rewarded with a gold print instead. Elsewhere in the Frontier, you'll find the BP shops as well as the Stats Judge. The BP shops are all located in the center depression of the hexagonal island. The stall on the left will sell you vitamins, power items, held items, and rare candies. The stall on the right will sell you powerful TMs, and the stall above these two will sell you scratch-off cards. The Stat Judge also makes a return from Emerald, which I didn't mention in that video because I'm bad at doing research, I guess. Turns out he was introduced in Emerald, left out of Diamond and Pearl, and then reintroduced in Platinum as a permanent fixture of the games from here forward. The stat judge will judge your Pokemon's IVs, but only vaguely. He'll give you an overall rating based on your Pokemon's IV total, and then he'll tell you the Pokemon's highest IV and give you a rating of that as well. If any stat is tied for the highest, he'll just pick one at random and tell you about it. He's quite the useful NPC for measuring the potential of your bred and caught Pokemon. Now, another change from Emerald's Frontier is that all of the facilities can be battled through in single, double, or multi-battle formats. That means that you and a friend could take on any and all 5 facilities together, rather than just comparing records for what you've each done. And that's the Battle Frontier. But we still have some things to talk about, because in addition to the fight area, they also slightly expanded the other 2 areas of the Battle Zone. Remember in Diamond and Pearl, how there were NPCs to the north and the east that would bar your progress until you had seen every Pokemon in the Sinnoh Dex? Well, they're still here. But once you do complete the Dex and you go show Professor Rowan, they'll vanish and you're free to explore the rest of the island. To the north lies Route 225, and to the east of that lies the Survival Area. Now in Diamond and Pearl, the Survival Area just existed to be here. You remember this house? There was a man inside who would tell you about the volcano. But now in Platinum, instead, the door is locked. Okay, we'll come back to that. Continuing on, you'll enter Route 226, and to the north of that will be Route 227, which then connects to Stark Mountain. Added in Platinum is the first post-game story content in Pokemon, even if it's incredibly short. Once you've finished with that, Buck will invite you to his place in the Survival Area. So not wanting to be rude, you return to the Survival Area to find Buck and Barry both bumming about this bombastic building before you. When you speak to Buck, he'll inform you that this is his place, and then he'll invite you in. Once inside, a man behind the counter calls you over and says that he's heard about you from both Buck and Crasher Wake, and that you're always welcome here from now on. He goes on to say that this place is only open to gym leaders or people that gym leaders have vouched for, making this a very prestigious little club to be a part of. Buck will also tell you, in what I can only imagine is a rare show of seriousness, that his place is only open to the toughest of trainers, just to let you know what a big deal it is that you're even allowed in here. This little club is called the Battleground. It'll have anywhere between 2 and 4 trainers inside each day, chosen randomly from a pool that includes all 8 of the gym leaders, which allows you to rebattle them, as well as any of the 5 stat trainers. Oh yeah, that's something I forgot to mention in the last one. The stat trainers are 5 different trainers you meet, or that you can meet, along your journey. Each of them have a sort of escort mission that you have to complete. But once you do, they'll show up in the Battle Tower as partners for the multi-battles, and specifically in Platinum, as opponents in the Battleground. These 5 are called stat trainers because each of them specializes in a specific stat. They do this by choosing Pokemon that excels in that stat. For example, Marley is the speed stat trainer, and her pool of Pokemon include Dugtrio, Arcanine, Alakazam, Electrode, Starmie, Jolteon, Aerodactyl, Crobat, Sceptile, Ninjask, Floatzel, Ambipom, Weavile, and Raikou. Laying all of these out next to each other, we see that the slowest Pokemon in this list is Arcanine, which has a base speed of only 95. After that, we continue on to Route 228, which leads on to Route 229, which leads on to the Resort Area. The Resort Area has gotten a bit of an expansion and appearance overhaul, but the ever-snooty Ribbon Society is still there, completely unchanged from the last game. However, south of the We're Better Than You Club lies a new addition to the area called the Villa. When you first approach this building, a man will walk up to you and offer the whole place to you for free, stating that he didn't want it to begin with and he feels too much pressure owning it. So if you agree, you're now the proud owner of a single-room house you can call your own. The villa is an interesting addition to the game. You can't battle here, but you can decorate it with options from the catalog on the table, as well as getting visitors here at different times that give you unique dialogue. And some of the furniture can only be purchased once certain in-game requirements are met, like the painting being purchasable after hatching 50 eggs, and the clock being purchasable after planting 50 berries. And that wraps up the endgame of Platinum. It added to Diamond and Pearl not only by giving you the frontier to battle through, but also by adding the battlegrounds for you to challenge, the villa for you to upgrade, and a post-game epilogue that adds to the events of the game. Quite a solid endgame for when the credits have rolled.